Welcome to The Personality Hire, the show where Riz is the resume. Today we have a beautiful jobs expert on the show. She's got big opinions, big personality. It's Tammie Ballis.
Hello.
Welcome, Tammie.
Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you on the show. I've been following you for a while, and I just love your content because you're so real, you're so relatable, and your mission is very much to help the everyday Aussie job seeker, which I love. Because there's a fine art to getting employment now, and it's harder than ever, particularly in the current job market, which is very fragmented, very competitive. You've got people losing their jobs left, right, and centre. I think every day I hear about more and more redundancies. Yep. There's a lot of insecurity out there. You've got a lot of employers, using offshoring. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talk right now about AI, automation. Tammie, what is actually going on right now? Because it's hard out there.
It is hard out there. There's a lot of things going on. I will say the post-COVID world has really shaken up the job market. It's not like it was. But in saying that, job markets go up and down. And I don't think a lot of people have experienced it being a poor job market, you know. So I've lived through the GFC. Okay, I'm pushing 40. So I've already lived through a downturn, a recession in the job market as an adult. This isn't new to me. It's not new to a lot of people, but it's very new to the younger ones coming up, the Gen Zs. What's going on? First and foremost, population growth. Okay, when there's more people in the job market applying to the same jobs, of course, it's going to get more competitive. Mm-hmm. So it's not a matter of quality candidates. It's a matter of your application isn't being seen. Mm-hmm. Because before, say, for a normal administration job, maximum you might have gotten 100, 120 applications. Now they're getting 300, 400, 500 applications, and it's impossible to be seen amongst all of those people. You might be the best person for the job. You might have all of the qualifications and all of the experience, but people seem to forget that it's also very overwhelming for employers and recruiters at the moment as well. They can't get to everybody, right? And it's recruitment and job hiring isn't a money-making function. So there's problem number one. Problem number two, yes, offshoring. In my opinion, I don't think our economy is doing very well. The first thing that companies do to tighten belts is make people redundant, and they offshore a lot of the jobs. We've been seeing it in the banking industry. We've been seeing it in the tech and finance industries. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. But it is what it is. Number three, AI is coming, mate. There's no doubt about it. And it's coming faster than I actually anticipated, which is quite scary. Again, banking and finance industries and tech as well. You've seen it in the news. I think it was with Commonwealth Bank. There was someone that lost their job. She trained the chatbot or whatever it was. She lost her job. I actually interviewed someone that was in finance about 6 months ago where that happened, and that was my only one at the time, but it's happening more and more. So there's AI too, and that is going to shake up jobs, professions, business. It's going to shake up a lot, and people need to be prepared for it. So that's mainly the three big things that are happening at the moment.
What sectors are most vulnerable, would you say?
Corporate.
White collar
corporate jobs, because look, I don't know, I guess, your purchasing behaviour. I purchased a box of vegetables from one of those companies. I didn't like what I got. I sent a message saying, please cancel my subscription. I received an AI response. And if I didn't notice the little sentence down the bottom that said this is an AI response, I would have thought it was a human.
It's getting so hard to discern what's real and what is AI. It's getting that accurate.
Very much so. It's getting that accurate, and it's going to run like wildfire, because think of it from a business point of view. There's no work cover, there's no superannuation, there's no insurance that they have to pay, there's no performance management. There's a lot of issues that are alleviated if they get a robot to do the job for them. What are those jobs? Customer service, administration. In saying that, you still do need professionals with experience to train these systems, to monitor these systems. But I think those white collar jobs are going to go, and they're the first ones that are starting to go, which is very sad.
What would you say to someone? I can completely relate to this because before I moved into journalism, I studied it. I had the degree, but for years I was actually an executive assistant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
C-suite executive assistant.
Yep.
And so there's obviously a lot of talk within that community right now. we're on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to someone in, one of those admin roles that I know for a fact needs that human touch, is so important, but there is this sense of insecurity around, I'm going to be replaced by a robot. What would you recommend they do? Is now the time to pivot?
Yeah, now's the time to pivot. In saying that, though, every job's different. Executive assistant, so one of my specialties was recruiting EAs in private and in government. And the thing is, with an EA, you need a physical person to be there to be the gatekeeper, okay? Which is a job that is highly skilled, highly experienced. AI can't take that job. The problem's going to be is the person that wants to be the EA but needs to start in admin and work their way up there. That's the problem. And we're going to have skills shortages. I mean, it's already hard to find EAs as it is. We're going to start having skills shortages for those type of jobs because those entry-level jobs are going to start to go. I would say if you are worried about your job, if you're worried about your profession, do your research. The easiest way to have a look is to go on the job boards, have a look on Seek, see the trends, and if you see that it's starting to dip, it's time to change careers, it's time to pivot. It is very worrying, and it's going to disrupt a lot of people's livelihoods, and it's very, very scary. Mine included, what I do.
What elements, because obviously you have your own business, what elements do you think could be replaced? Because I know a big part of what you do is putting together this, I guess, recruitment package for people. How a tailored CV, really giving them that hands-on advice, how to best position themselves. How do you think a robot could take away that personal touch that you offer, though?
Well, if AI gets that good, there goes the resume side to my business. In saying that, though, AI's been here. I mean, I've been around longer than AI. I've been doing the business longer than AI. My business has grown, right? Because with the blessing that is social media, I am able to directly communicate with future customers, and they trust me to do their resumes for them, or they trust my business to do the resumes for them. However, if it's someone that didn't know who I was, why would they trust a human doing it when I'm going to get the chatbot to do it for me? And that's what's happening. And that's also what's really scary as well. People are trusting AI over experts in any industry, and it's very, very scary. And AI isn't correct, especially if you don't know how to use it properly. And most of the time, it will tell you in a general sense what you want to hear. I do YouTube videos and TikTok lives where I've got resumes behind me and I edit them. I did one where it was ChatGPT. I just put in some information. I said, make me a resume. And it was all wrong, but that's what people are using. They're using ChatGPT resumes. Even, your resume should be in reverse chronological order. So your latest job first. It did it the other way around. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of adapting. It's going to be a lot of, you need to use your common sense to get through.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I literally did a story the other day on ChatGPT, and Stanford University actually did a study. ChatGPT does not know how to discern fact from fiction.
It doesn't.
So to put your hands completely in these models is really, really foolish.
It's something that I wouldn't trust. You know, we all use it. But, it gives you the wrong information sometimes. Also, not exactly what I wanted. I'm going to fix it myself. It's good for ideas. It's good for bouncing off ideas and things like that. But I wouldn't trust it 100%. No way.
Well, it's creating, huge ripple effects in, sectors like law and medicine, where there is no room for error. There literally is fact or you're dead. That's
right. That's exactly right. And it's happening a lot with law, where people will use ChatGPT to send like a cease and desist letter, or they're going to ChatGPT first and then instructing their lawyer to do what ChatGPT said. So you're just about to spend 10 grand on a lawyer. Why are you doing that for? It just doesn't make sense. It blows my mind.
Shout out Kim Kardashian. She admitted to doing that recently.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Well, she didn't pass the bar, honey. So clearly it's not working out for her. She's been using ChatGPT, apparently.
Maybe she needs to work harder.
Well, this is actually a perfect segue, because I wanted to get into the Jobseeker, your core client. What are they doing? What do you see regularly that is hurting people that come to you for help? Tammie, what can I do? I'm applying to hundreds of jobs. I'm not getting cut through. You look at their CV, bam. What are they doing wrong?
What they're doing wrong a lot of the time is they're spraying and praying, right? I'll apply to 500 jobs. I still haven't gotten one callback. Okay, but out of those 500 jobs, have you picked the one that has the experience that you have? You know, your experience needs to match. I would say 70 to 80%. Most of them don't do that. They think that because the job market's hard, that they're just going to get one or two interviews and hopefully get a job. It's not the 70s. It's not the 90s. It doesn't work that way anymore. You are applying to a job through a computer, through an app. You are a piece of paper until you get an interview. That's where people are going wrong. So they're stuffing up with their resumes and they're not strategically applying. They're the biggest issues. Now, when it comes to the resumes, people don't seem to believe me when I say keep it short and sweet and simple, because it does take 6 seconds for a recruiter to skim your resume. And a lot of people don't like listening to recruiters because there's a lot of shonky ones out there. There's a lot of cowboys in the market. Sure. There's a lot of people that get into it for the money. I mean, if you make good money on your placements, that's what attracts people, right? 30, 40 grand placements. But it's a craft. It's not rocket science, but it is hard. So you've got a lot of bad people that are wrecking the industry that aren't guiding candidates properly. And so people don't like listening to recruiters and they think, what the hell would you know? But also everybody thinks that they're a career expert as well. It's like, well, why are you listening to your uncle that retired 20 years ago? What the hell does he know?
Yeah.
Why are you listening to an influencer? I saw an influencer the other day and I thought, wow, one of the news outlets interviewed her. She was saying, oh, I'm 21 years old. I've got I think it was a swimwear business. People are writing terrible cover letters. It's like, what would you know about applying for jobs?
Yeah.
What would you haven't had a stable job for a long time, ever. You're an influencer. Yeah, you might be a business owner, but what makes you an expert? You haven't recruited or hired staff in a professional sense. You haven't represented anybody. Who are you to have an opinion on how people apply to jobs properly? Right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening as well. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of nonsense. And people listen to the stuff that they want to hear. And so when someone like me and other recruiters on the internet have counter opinions and say, actually, no, this is what it's like, they don't believe you because it's not glorified, it's not sexy, it's boring.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the 2-pager, personally. Yeah. I like it, succinct. I'm a big fan of Canva. You tell me, but to me, I think it's very industry dependent as well.
Yes.
How I'm going to apply for a media job where I know they do want to see some level of flair or creativity is very different to how I'd apply for an executive assistant role. It's
exactly right.
My angle, the way I approach it, completely different.
But you know that. You understand that. A lot of people don't understand that. They think if I have the colourful resume from Canva, and no hate to Canva, I love Canva.
Shout out to Canva.
Shout out to Canva. Canva, as an Australian brand, I am proud of them. Right?
It's an amazing tool.
They're beautiful,
if used correctly and appropriately.
Yes. Media kits, influencers, marketing, social media, graphic design, use Canva. I can't help you there. Use Canva. They need to see your colour theory. They need to see your creative flair, all of that. For the rest of us in the boring industries, a boring black and white word format style resume works. Straight to the point, because you are going through someone that doesn't care about the colours. It's your skills and your experience. I need to know if you as an executive assistant know how to write ministerial correspondence. Have you organised Christmas parties? Have you organised all of, whatever.
Can you do minutes?
Can you do meeting minutes? Things like that. That's a big one. Some EAs can't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a skill.
Yeah, it is. It is, or how many directors have you looked after? Have you only looked after 2? No, I need someone to look after 4. It's the bullet points that need to, and not the bullet points, I would say, the job title and then the bullet points need to jump out at the hiring manager in a corporate sense. In a media sense, it's your creative flair. Yes, your experience, but they want to see your personality. You're not a personality until you get a job interview in corporate or every other industry most of the time. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's funny you say that, because also I feel like every company's different.
Yes.
But when I was an EA, it was almost like they actually don't want too much personality.
No, they don't.
So if I submitted the colourful, rizzy, flared up CV, that could actually work against me.
Yes.
Because they want people who blend in, can cater to their executive, mirror their style. And so I sometimes found that my personality was not actually...
Well, I was actually quite shocked when you told me you're an EA. right? Because they're always they're like 2-3 steps ahead of the people that they're looking after.
Yeah.
Serious
squirrel.
Very, if I expected you to be an EA, I would expect you to be in a suit.
Yeah. Well, I was.
Right.
I'm a chameleon, Tammie.
I should be in a suit, but I don't want to be anymore. But
I'm a goddamn chameleon, but also,
Good on you.
yeah, I worked for Lendlease. Construction.
Very, very corporate. Yeah.
That was very, very corporate.
Yep.
But then I've also worked in like advertising agencies and media companies. So then it's different. Then they want to see a bit more personality, but still there's a certain expectation. When you're an executive assistant, you have to be Switzerland.
Very much so.
What's a mistake that you wish your job seekers would stop making outside of the resume? Is it the way that they're approaching the conversation?
The mistake that I wish they would stop making and understand that applying for jobs is all grey matter. It's not black and white.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if it comes from school or university where, you do a test and you get 80%, you get 90%. That's how a lot of people approach the job market. It's like, I'm the right fit. Why didn't I get it? You don't know what's happening on the other side. How do you know that you're a right fit? Just because you think your resume or your skills or your personality should have met the job ad requirements, and they get quite upset and frustrated. And I get it when you're desperate, right?
Yeah.
When you're desperate, you start overthinking and you get
want
in your
things to land.
head and you just want it to work.
Yeah.
But it is understanding the job market is grey matter and it's not personal. It's just business.
And you never know what's happening internally well, or the experience that person has had prior to you.
That's right.
Like they could have met someone with your similar personality 6 months ago and it didn't work out for that person, so they're not looking at people like you. And it's nothing to do with you. It's just something happened. Team dynamics. Like it's, as you say, there's a lot of grey matter.
A lot of grey matter, and a lot of people don't understand that. They think that it's just black and white, that it's a tick box situation. It's not. There's 100 million different things that are going on at the one time, and you may have not been picked. You may have been missed by accident. It happens. And I think they also hold employers, hiring managers, recruiters to a high account where, why wasn't I picked? You need to tell me why I wasn't picked. And when you've got 1,000 people applying, it's incredibly hard. And even though I don't believe in ghosting, I think everyone needs to at least send an automated email saying that they weren't successful.
Yeah. Can we talk discrimination?
Sure.
Is this something that's front of mind for you when you have these candidates in front of you? As you say, they're desperate for a job. Yep. Do you know, based on, the brief that your employer that's coming to you and wants help with in terms of filling a role, do they ever give you any kind of indication on the type of candidate they're looking for in a way that you're like,
Always. But then I also get the DEI ones as well. More when you're in an internal capacity. DEI, so diversity, equity and inclusion, for people that don't get that acronym. Does discrimination happen? Of course it does. Ageism, racism, sexism, anti-LGBTQI, all of that. Of course it happens. Not as much as people think. We live in a day and age now, thankfully, where we're more accepting, we're kinder, but also there's biases that happen, unconscious biases that happen that people don't even know that they have. And that will determine who they hire. And it doesn't even have to be a discrimination thing. It could be someone's hair colour. It could be that they're fat. It could be that they're too skinny. It could be that they've got a big nose. It could be anything. You can't really prove it. It's in the job market. It's not personal. It's a horrible thing that happens. But yeah, discrimination happens. Absolutely, it does.
Have you ever had like a client come to you and use discriminatory language, or say to you on the low, Tammie, this is the kind of person I actually want, and you're thinking, I can't really do that. That's kind of illegal. How do you navigate that type of situation?
You say to them, look, we can't exactly do what you're wanting because of certain reasons. Let's just get the resumes in and see which one's got the best skills.
Yeah,
and that's
I
how
can't
we work
hire a
around
size 8 blonde because that's what you want, Jerry.
Yeah, no, I haven't had it that bad. I've just had like mainly male or female. Yeah, right. It's like, well,
I only want a female.
I only want a female executive assistant.
Yes.
It's like, well, hang on, I've just had a brilliant man that's just walked in, who has been working for all of these executives and he's worth X amount and he's going to do a great job for you, and you're not going to have to think about anything. And it's your job as a recruiter to influence your hiring manager to interview them, and usually it works out for the best. And it's because they've had a bad experience before, or because they could just be an asshole.
Or, sexism is still alive.
It is. It absolutely is. It happens. But like I said, you've just got to keep moving forward. And sometimes, no matter how much you scream about it, sometimes, you can go to Fair Work, but prove it. You can go to an employment lawyer, prove it. It's really hard. When you're not in the position of power, you got your hands tied behind your back. I find it really hard for people because sometimes your gut feeling's always right. If you feel that you didn't get the job because maybe someone is being discriminatory towards you
or xenophobic,
right, that happens. You can't do much about it, right? And you can try and change the world. There's things that you can do, be an activist, all of that, but in the job market, you got to be really careful. You got to be really careful, because if you come across like a screaming skull as well, no one's going to want to hire you. And that comes out in reference checks. That people say this stuff on people say this stuff on LinkedIn. I wasn't hired because a boss was racist. I wasn't hired because sexism, all of that.
As much as it sucks, you're better off redirecting your energy into a company, a situation that is more aligned with who you are, somewhere you're going to be valued and respected.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of hiring managers, let's get into their brain a little bit.
Okay.
I've had plenty of horrible ghosting experiences.
I'm sure you have.
Back in the day. What is the reality behind that? Is it, as we sort of touched on, it's a volume issue. They're just absolutely flat out. Or a lot of the time, I honestly feel that they just don't have the courage to say why.
What if I told you 99% of people aren't trained in recruitment and interviewing? They've got no idea what they're doing. They don't know that it's bad talent acquisition to not get back to someone. Most of the time, it comes from a good place where they don't want to let someone down.
Yeah.
They don't understand that that person is going to be thinking about that job now for the next 2 months while you haven't gotten back to them. They don't understand that by you ghosting them, it makes the company look bad. And so that person's going to go, word of mouth still works in this country. Don't apply there, they never got back to me. Don't apply there, they never got back to me. And they get a bad rep in the job market. It happens. It absolutely happens.
Yeah.
But most of it comes from not wanting to let someone down. It comes from them not being trained in recruitment and interviewing. 99% of people aren't trained, and everyone thinks they're an expert.
Oh, I've shared so many tears from being ghosted. Usually in my 20s, Tammie.
And you don't know when you're that young.
Yeah, no.
But I would say, if you're watching this, if you're in an interview, the question that you must ask is, when can I follow up with you? When am I going to hear back? What does the recruitment timeline look like? So at least you can gauge an idea. And if they don't give you an answer, they don't know what they're doing. So just keep moving forward and keep applying to jobs.
I would always, at the end of an interview, I would always say, I'm really interested. What are the next steps?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, as we know, this is the personality hire.
Yes.
How much do you think comes down to skills versus personality? Because I've talked a lot on the pod. Again, it's industry dependent.
Yeah.
But I genuinely feel that I have found my way into businesses just from the strength of my personality and just bringing that extra sort of razzle dazzle to the room.
Yep.
What is your take on that? Do you think I'm full of crap?
Yeah, I do.
Sorry. I love it.
You've got a great personality, and for media, I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. For media.
For media, I believe. Random got into the media, onto radio and TV. I know it's because of my personality, right? And what I say.
Yes.
Not because of my skills.
Yeah.
Right?
Valid. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when you're hiring in skills-based jobs, it's not your personality. It's your foot through the door is your skills and experience. Your interview is your charisma and your personality. But
there we go. Yeah. That's the distinction. That's where the risk comes in.
That's where it is. However, sometimes, or a lot of the time, when we're recruiting, we're thinking about the team as well. So if we've got Jody coming in and we've got a million Jodies, another one's not going to help the team. We need someone that's a bit more chill, a bit more relaxed to, relax everybody out.
Yes.
Right? Or it could be, like I've had an executive assistant situation. We've got really, really tough managers. We need someone that's resilient.
Yes.
So what I hear is someone that's just going to take it and just keep going forward, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what type of personality they're looking for. Sometimes, like in nursing, your personality doesn't matter. It's such a big industry that is screaming for staff. If you're a registered nurse with a minimum of 1 or 2 years of Australian experience, you will get a job.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what your personality is.
Yeah. You could be a total mole.
You could be a mole.